Begin with Estonia's request for consultation with other NATO members after the violation of its airspace by Russian warplanes. The government says three Russian MiG-31 fighter jets entered Estonian skies yesterday without permission and remained there for a total of 12 minutes over the Gulf of Finland, Italy. Italy, Finland, and Sweden had to scramble jets under NATO's mission to bolster its eastern flank. Russia has denied violating Estonian airspace, but tensions have been escalating recently after Poland and Romania, both NATO members, said Russian drones breached their airspace. The president of Estonia says his country will continue to defend Ukraine.
Estonia will continue to support Ukraine, defending their freedom. This year alone, we spent 0.3% of our GDP on direct military support to Ukraine. And our defense industry is increasingly cooperating with the Ukrainian defense industry. Ukraine deserves an end of the war, but we know from our own history that only a well-guaranteed peace can be enduring and lasting peace.
All right, for more on this development, global affairs analyst Ejike Okpa joins me on the news this afternoon. So let's talk about this now. What's your assessment of Russia's alleged violation of Estonia's airspace?
Hey, thank you for having me. The key word in what you just said is violation, alleged. Okay, Russia is denying it, and Estonia is saying it happened. So we don't know who actually is telling the truth. But it makes you wonder, how can a country, allow another foreign country, an enemy country, or an adversary country to enter their airspace? Obviously, NATO needs to have something, to have, a dome shield, so that you can, before you even enter the country, maybe 50 miles before you enter the country, there'll be an indicator, a sensor to tell you not when they're already in your airspace. So, but, be that as it may, in this situation of, cat and a mouse situation, we don't know what is happening. Obviously, there wasn't any danger that that happened. I mean, any serious damage. We're hoping that in the next few weeks or days, the truth will be known. But I think what NATO needs to do is to build a defense system around countries bordering Russia, so that before you get into a particular country's airspace, they could tell you that you are coming in, and they can send you a signal, warning you that don't get in, or not when you get in, and everybody's reacting.
All right. So, from a global perspective, now, what does Estonia's request for NATO's consultation signal about the current security climate in Europe?
Well, it's, the 32 NATO members, they have this, pact that said, hey, if one of us is attacked, or is about to be attacked, the whole lot of us are going to join in. And so what they're doing now is, seeking consultation. Estonia obviously is not going to attack Russia. They're going to go to, to their committee or the member nations and say, hey, this is what happened to us. What should we do? So we should wait for that, the result of that consultation. But remember, Russia is denying that they didn't do it. So if that denial is still on, it cannot take any action. But if Russia has said, hey, sorry, we ventured into your airspace without knowing it, we will not do it again, that's a different story.
All right, so many have seen Vladimir Putin as a bully all around the world, especially with the fact that he had a discussion with Donald Trump and went against that discussion and went about bombing Ukraine. Now, do you see this incident as a one-off provocation or a part of a larger strategic pattern by Russia to escalate the war?
Again, you say something very key in this conversation. Russia is feeling isolated. It's one country in the world. Everybody just don't know what Putin is going to do. So in America, we say poking the bear. What they've done is poking around to see what, it's more like, hey, let's go see what the reaction we're going to get. Whether that leads other people to be more vigilant or leads them to spend more money on their defense system. This is what this is all leading to. But Russia, again, if you were to be Russia, and you are isolated by your members, you're going to try to do something to get attention. So, he's getting the attention, but is this the sort of attention that that he deserves? I don't know. But the point is that there wasn't any bombs released. There wasn't anything, we don't know whether the airplanes that got in there got any pictures of what they were looking for. The point is that, in a tense situation like we have, in the former Russia, USSR countries, it's making everybody, on edge. Yes, Trump spoke with Putin, but any agreement is just good if the parties to the agreement, abide by it. But if we just do the talking and you walk away and I go do what I want, it doesn't really mean anything. And Trump cannot force Putin to do anything. We know that this war has been on, for 3 years, and we don't know what's going to bring an end to it. European countries obviously are weakened by what is going on. America is going to come in and do what America does, and that is, hey, let's have a conversation. But at the end of the day, every country was going to maintain a certain sovereign right. Say, hey, this is our country. We're going to do what we want. We don't want a third world war. We don't want it. And it's not likely it's going to happen. We're just going to go into this pull and push kind of situation, and then some people will enjoy it. Remember, peace is boring. So if we have war, everybody goes to sleep, like they said during the Biafran Nigerian war. Surrounded by your enemies, you sleep with one eye open.
All right, so let's talk about NATO and the West now. The Baltic states have long warned of Russian provocations now. Do you think NATO and the West have taken these warnings seriously enough?
Oh, they have. I mean, but what are you going to do? I mean, they have obviously, in the recent months and since this conflict started, the European countries have, waken up to their own responsibility. Again, America is the biggest supporter of NATO, but remember in the Trump first term, he said, you guys need to pay for your own security. And it makes sense, so now they are waking into it, but it's been years of doing nothing. Now they're trying to be active. Again, look at all the member nations in NATO. Apart from the US, they don't have any fighting army. And I mean, if there's a war to go on now, you're going to expect American soldiers to go over there and help them out. So Russia does that, and Russia is again poking the bear and seeing what they're going to do, and what they're going to do, we don't know. The talk has been on since the conflict started. 3 years into it, what does it tell you? Relationship actually has to make sense when the parties to the relationship agree to hold themselves to certain terms and conditions. But if one person is, like you said, the bully, Putin is not hiding it. He's the bully in the region. And it's more like, hey, Igbo people say, hey, if you see somebody you're going to beat up, you're going to always have a hunger for fight. And so he knows he can do that, and then he's doing it.
All right, so Estonia is one country that has been supporting Ukraine. Looking at all of this, and of course the fact that Estonia borders Russia as well, what do you think is the message Russia is trying to send, not just to Estonia, but to NATO and the broader international community?
Again, he's like, I can do it, and what are you going to do about it? That's basically what he said. If Estonia is a Russian supporter, and then Russia is coming in and saying, hey, guess what? The person you're supporting, look at what we're doing to them. We can do it to you as well. And then that's making NATO and everybody in the world, again, you're shaking your head. Remember, people are going to want to seek a fight with you if they think they can beat you up. Even if they don't beat you up, they're going to want to inflict as much damage on you to weaken you. So I'm hoping that we don't have a third world war, and it's not going to happen. But Russia is keeping everybody in that region awake. They go to sleep with one eye open. But I'm hoping that this will make NATO people come in with a defense system and try to make sure before you venture into any space of any particular NATO country, we would have seen you coming. Because again, it's a technology thing, it's a tracking system. You can use the satellite, you can use all kinds of ways now to see what is coming into your country. You don't just sit there and then when they're into your airspace, then you wake up and start screaming, just like, the Israeli people went into Kuwait and Qatar and killed somebody. If you have a defense system, you could track any airplane coming into it. So again, what is going to leads to is people spending money on defense. You got to look at it now. Security is one of the biggest things in everywhere in the world, because so many countries, there are so many state actors who are trying to do something on behalf of somebody.
All right, so let's, before I let you go, let's talk about Article 4. Estonia has called for consultations under Article 4. Not just Estonia, but other NATO countries, about 2 of them. What might NATO's realistic response look like in this case?
Well, the thing is that Russia has denied they didn't do it. And then so the consultation is a step towards a final decision. So if after this consultation, NATO decides or determines that this thing actually happened, they can send a warning to Russia, say, hey, don't do this again. If you do it, you are going to incur our own reaction, and that was going to be very devastating. So we just, again, this just happened like, a day or so ago. So let's just wait to see what the consultation will say. And then we then know whether there's going to be some more serious consequences, or we're just going to let this one slide by and it doesn't happen again.
All right, could this incident influence NATO's upcoming strategic decisions, such as force posture, troop deployments, or air defenses in the Baltics?
Yeah, again, it's made them to wake up. Remember, this is about poking the bear. Okay, let me go poke the bear and see whether the bear is going to do anything. Or just like I say, hey, let me get into the lion's den and see if I can challenge the lion, to a fight or something. Anybody who's going to always fight you is going to try to say, what are your strengths? What are you going to do? So that they too be prepared. When we don't do anything, then they're encouraged to come back and then again follow you or attack you or violate you. Remember, I said it, the Igbo traditional wisdom say, hey, anytime you see somebody you're going to beat up, what do you want to do? You have a hunger for fights. So we are hoping that this doesn't lead NATO to react unnecessarily or doesn't cause Russia to now be more aggressive on neighboring countries. Again, the world wants peace, but weapons, building weapons is a business, and if we don't have things like this going on in the world, then all those people that build the airplanes and build all the weapons used in war are not going to have something to do. But we say, well, we can build it, in order to defend, but we don't want to build it in order to use it.
All right.
Okay. It's just like in America, we're entitled to have guns. You just don't want anybody to violate you because I have it,
Well, Ejike, talking about America, let's talk about President Trump in all of this. Is his stance tough enough?
What is America going to do? Let me tell you, there are the M factors that America uses in their foreign diplomacy. And all those words that start with M: manifest destiny, Monroe Doctrine, military money, and media. And then the last thing, believe it or not, is McDonald's. America will not go to war with any country that has McDonald's because you say, hey, if I can break bread with you, I ain't going to go to war with you. And there's a McDonald's in Russia. So America don't expect anytime soon that there's going to be American soldiers fighting Russian soldiers. It ain't going to happen. We're going to have this pull and push. We're going to have this cat and mouse game. At the end, they're going to pat each other on the back and say, hey, dude, let's forget this. Okay, but they got the attention they want. So America is tough enough, but America also doesn't, the closest border to America has with Russia is Alaska.
Yeah, Alaska.
We know that, but we ain't going to war, physically. It's just the physical neighbors who are the former USSR members and European countries that are really concerned going, but American soldiers are not going to be in Russia anytime soon. Yeah, that ain't going to happen.
All right. Global Affairs Analyst, Ejike Okpa, thank you so much for talking to us.
And then, you know what? You are the best dressed anchor man. Okay, keep it
Oh,
keep it
thank
up.
you.
It makes it makes the conversation soft.
All right, so we'll take a quick break, and of course, when we return, we'll have more